tonight we're going to use the Cuisinart. It's the CBK-100 series. And we are going to use it to make a modified version of this herb dill French bread. We're going to change the olive oil to peanut oil, and we will remove the dill weed. And the reason why we do these things, we replace the olive oil with peanut oil, is due to the fact that the peanut oil tastes better with the peanut butter and jelly. So I've got all the stuff laid out here. First thing you do is you get the water, 1.5 cups of water, room temperature. And you can look down in there. You can see it's been well used. You can see the paddle there. So we're going to dump the water in, and you want to keep the water away from the edges as much as possible because you got to add yeast at the end. So there's 1.5 cups of water. And then it takes 2 teaspoons of oil. And again, we're using the peanut oil rather than the olive oil because we're going to be using this loaf more for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So 2 tablespoons. Alrighty. Now, the next thing that goes in is the salt. And the salt is 2 tablespoons. This little handy measure thing came from with the bread maker. So, and we need 2, this is each teaspoon here. So we need, is that right, salt? No, actually it's 1 1/4 salt. I keep saying 2. It's 1 1/4 salt. Yes, I'm making a mess. I get to clean it up with my Norwex and bar cloth. Okay, so 1 1/4 teaspoon salt. Now it's the bread flour. The bread flour is the thing I hate doing the most because you get bread flour everywhere and it's so hard to measure. Bread flour, 3 3/4 cups. That's a lot of bread flour when you only have a 2-cup measuring cup. So here is my dill pickle jar. And as you've noticed, I have drawn a black Sharpie line here. That is the amount of flour I need for this particular bread. And so I'm going to dump it in slow. I just kind of spread it around. Can you see it? But that was the greatest invention ever. Now, when you wash it in the microwave, you want to make sure, if you decide to wash this in the microwave, you always want to make sure and take your black Sharpie and darken the thing because it wears off a little bit. You gotta do like this. See? Then it can go back in the dishwasher. Okay, so now we got the bread flour in there. Okay, and again, this is where you could put in rosemary or dill. But because we are doing the loaf good for peanut butter, we're going to leave out the dill or the rosemary. They're both really good. If you like dill pickles, you'll love the dill bread. If you actually, you know, the rosemary is a good taste, but it's more of an Italian. Okay, and then the yeast for the bread machine, it's active dry yeast. This is what we're going to use. I've already cut the corner of it, and we need 1 3/4 teaspoons. So here I'm going to use the fancy, you know, the little one that came with my Cuisinart. We're going to get 1. You want to try to get it as close as possible. See, I went over a little bit. So the second part here is 3/4. I want to try and stay under 3/4 just a little bit. Because I got a little bit more in there than I should have. And you have to be really exact on the yeast and the salt and actually all the ingredients that you put in. Okay, now close the door, plug it in. I thought it was plugged in, I'm sorry. But Lance, the guru, can always help with that. Okay, now, menu. We're going to set it to the French Italian loaf. So we're going to go to the menu, and we're going to set it to 2 there. You got it. Okay. And then here, It says light, medium, or dark crust. So we're going to do the dark crust. So I'm going to hit the color till it goes to dark. And we're doing the biggest loaf, so that's a 2-pound loaf. And then we're just going to move this stuff over. I'm going to slide this back so it's out of the way a little bit, but not too close to the wall because of the heat. It doesn't really get too hot. And hit start, and you get your bread going. I cover this up. This doesn't really get hot. Some people say that's a bad idea, so you know, maybe don't cover it up. But you definitely don't want light down on it at all when it's doing its cooking process. It usually takes about 3.5 hours, 3.5 to 4 hours to cook. And once it's done, you want to let it cool 30 minutes before you try to cut it. It stays together better that way. And so healthy. Yay. Thank you.